My husband read every message I sent to my boss and waited 4 years to tell me. I didn't feel like a monster while it was happening. That realization came later, when everything was already ruined and there was nothing left to defend. While I was inside it, I felt like a woman who had been ignored for so long that any attention felt like oxygen, even if it was poisonous. My marriage didn't collapse overnight. It eroded quietly, day by day, through routines that replaced intimacy and politeness that replaced love. My husband and I lived together efficiently. We managed a household well. We paid bills on time, raised our child, remembered birthdays. From the outside, we looked stable. From the inside, I felt like I was suffocating slowly, politely, without permission to complain. He touched me less every year. Not because he didn't want me, but because he sensed my withdrawal. When he did reach for me, it felt like obligation rather than desire, and my body responded with tension instead of warmth. I started avoiding undressing in front of him, turning away when I changed, locking the bathroom door. He noticed. He didn't push. Work became the place where I could breathe. My boss didn't save me. He didn't rescue me. He simply noticed me, and that was enough. He asked how I was doing and waited for the answer. He remembered things I said weeks earlier. He complimented my thinking, my presence, the way I spoke. When he stood close to me, it wasn't accidental. When his eyes lingered, it wasn't imagined. The first time our hands brushed while reaching for the same file, the shock went through me like electricity. I pulled away immediately, embarrassed, but my body remembered it for the rest of the day. The messages started soon after. Innocent at first. Then playful. Then personal in ways that made me sit up straighter, heart racing, rereading his words like they were confessions. I knew exactly when the line was crossed. I knew, and I didn't stop it. I sent the first photo late at night, locked in the bathroom while my husband slept in the next room. It wasn't explicit, but it was intimate. It was intentional. When my boss responded immediately, my hand started shaking so badly I had to sit on the floor. I pressed my forehead against the cool tile and tried to slow my breathing. That night, I didn't sleep. After that, everything accelerated. Words turned into images. Images turned into plans. Plans turned into meetings. The first time he kissed me, it was hungry and urgent, like he'd been waiting for permission. The first time we slept together, I cried afterward, not because I regretted it, but because I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Present. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I would stop. I didn't. The affair wove itself into my daily life. I learned how to lie without hesitation. I learned how to shower quickly, how to erase messages, how to angle photos so nothing identifiable appeared in the background. I learned how to smile at my husband while my phone buzzed in my pocket with someone else's words. I sent my boss photos taken in my own home. In my own bed. That detail still makes my stomach twist when I think about it. At work, the risk became part of the attraction. Locked doors. Empty offices. The sound of footsteps in hallways making my heart race. One time, he pulled me into a stairwell, pressed me against the wall, and covered my mouth with his hand while voices echoed nearby. I remember thinking that if anyone saw us, everything would be over, and realizing that the thought didn't stop me. At home, my husband grew quieter. He asked fewer questions. He stopped trying to initiate intimacy. I mistook his withdrawal for indifference. I told myself he didn't care anymore. That belief made it easier to continue. What I didn't know was that he already knew everything. Years earlier, while I was in the shower, my phone lit up on the counter. A message preview. A photo. Enough context to destroy any illusion. He unlocked the phone. He read everything. Not just a few messages, all of them. Months. Years. Words meant for another man. Images meant for another body. He sat there alone while water ran and I sang softly, unaware that my marriage had just died in his hands. And he chose silence. For 4 years. He watched me leave for work knowing exactly where my desire was going. He listened to me lie effortlessly. He slept beside me knowing details about my body that another man knew too. He carried that knowledge alone while I lived my double life, convinced I was invisible. I thought I was in control. I thought I was clever. I thought I was getting away with something. The truth was, I was being observed the entire time. The distance between us grew unbearable. Arguments became sharper. Then stopped altogether. I told myself the marriage was already over. I told myself I was brave for finally choosing myself. The night everything came apart, I was packing a bag. We were arguing loudly, years of resentment finally spilling out. I told him I was done. I told him I couldn't live like this anymore. I told him I was leaving. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He just said calmly, "You know Yves read everything, right?" The room went completely still. I laughed at first, convinced it was a bluff. Then he started describing the photos. The messages. The words I had written late at night while he slept beside me. Details I had forgotten but he never had. My legs gave out. I collapsed onto the floor. He told me he had known for 4 years. 4 years of silence. 4 years of watching me choose another man again and again. I screamed at him, asking why he didn't stop me, why he didn't confront me, why he let me keep destroying everything. He looked at me with a calm I will never forget and said, "I wanted to see how long you would choose him over us." That sentence destroyed me. I realized then that my betrayal wasn't just the affair. It was the years of performance. The lies. The way I kissed him goodnight knowing he already knew the truth. I had stolen his choice, his agency, his dignity, and forced him to live inside my deception. I moved out shortly after. The affair ended quietly. My boss disappeared the moment consequences appeared. He didn't fight for me. He didn't wait. That hurt in a way I wasn't prepared for. Now I live with the aftermath. My husband is polite. Controlled. Distant. He knows me more deeply than anyone ever will, and that knowledge has turned into a wall I can never cross. I thought cheating was the worst thing I did. It wasn't. The worst thing was destroying someone who loved me while he watched silently, and realizing too late that the silence was the most devastating punishment of all.